Hi friends, I welcome you all at Crack Grade. As you all know that government scheme is playing a very important role in the selection process of CB, RBI and other exam. And they play a very crucial role. So by keeping in mind, we have started a lecture series for covering government scheme from various ministry, and we will cover all this scheme from various ministry in a very short time. And today we are going to cover the Ministry of Rural and Development, and this is part 1, and we will cover this ministry in 3 parts. So our first scheme for today is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So this scheme was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister on November 20, 2016, and its objective was constructing a 2.95 crore houses by the year 2022. Its main aim was to provide, it was launched from the Agra district, and its aim was to provide a Pakka house with basic amenities to all houseless families and family living in Kacha and dilapidated house up by the 2022. Need of it was arising, and the government has given its commitment that housing for all by 2020. So fulfilling of its commitment, government has launched this Prime Minister Awas Yojana Gramin. Right, and it was not the first scheme to run these types of to covering these types of flaws in our country. So government before that Indira Awas Yojana was in picture, but it was suffering from design flaws, lack of transparency, leakages, favoritism and corruption. So government has revamped this scheme, and this Indira Awas Yojana has been revamped, and it was known as Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin with effect from 1st April 2016 with progressive reforms. What is the meaning of these progressive reforms? I will tell you later. In subsequent slide you will able to understand what is the meaning of these progressive reforms. But what happens? The performance audit and performance audit conducted by the CAG in respect of this scheme has found many flaws by the year 2014, and they have found various gaps in its implementation like design flaws, lack of transparency, leakages, favoritism and corruption. So this scheme was revamped in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. Right. Now, these are the changes with respect to IAY and PMAYG. What happens? The house which was constructed under this IA was of 20 square meter, but it has been changed to 25 square meter under this PMAYG. Government is giving amount of 70 to 75,000 under this scheme, and it has been changed to 1.20, 1.30 lakhs under this scheme. And they have changes, they have given some additional assistance under this scheme with the help of Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. According to this mission, government is providing 12,000 of rupees for toilet construction under this scheme. So they have linked this scheme, they have integrated this scheme to this Prime Minister Awas Yojana. And government is also giving 90 to 95 persons mandate under this MG Narega for construction of this house, and they are also giving some amount that is limited to 18,000. So under this 90 to 95 working days, they are able to earn this 18,000 rupees, and they can use it for their construction of their house. So this was the changes which was taken place from this IAY to PMAY. Now this is the big problem of our country, that how you will identify the beneficiaries. So government has taken some data from this Social and Economic Census 2011, and according to this data they have find some beneficiaries, and whatever beneficiaries they have find, they were validated by the Gram Sabha, the lowest unit for administration in our country. So according to this, they are able to found houseless household living in 0, 1 and 2 kacha wall and kacha roof, and according to their conditions, they have prioritized the construction process under this Prime Minister Awas Yojana Gramin. So remember this point, the beneficiaries was found according to this census and it was validated by the Gram Sabha. This is the most important point you can understand from here, that they have linked all the running scheme with this PMAYG. And logically it is, you can understand that if a person is doing work 90 to 95 man days and earning up to 18,000 rupees, so this he can use for construction their own house. Second one, the government is giving 12,000 rupees for construction of the toilet under this Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. So these all the schemes has been integrated with this PMAYG. For example, if you are constructing your house and you need to electrify your house, so you can get electrification of your house or electrical connection with the help of this Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, that is DDUGJY or Saubhagya scheme. Then comes they have also integrate this link this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana for free LPG connection to this PMAYG. Moreover, under this Jal Jeevan Mission, they are providing tapping connection to each house. So all the schemes which is related to the construction house or basic amenities of a person, they have integrated this scheme to this PMAYG. Now, the most important part they have given for the grievance redressal. How you are seeing this is a Gram Panchayat office or Gram Panchayat building. So what they are doing, they are displaying the number of beneficiaries that is have a permanent wait list at this board in the painted form. So this one is, they are displaying the name of the person on this. So this permanent wait list is painted on the walls of the public building in the Panchayat office here. So a person who have applied for getting benefit of this scheme, he can see their name on this painted wall, and it shows the transparency of the government in the giving benefits of this scheme to the individual. Moreover, if a person is also suffering and saying that the process of selection of beneficiary is wrong, so there is a appellate process. The person can appeal against the selection process to the person. So this is the grievance redressal given under this scheme. Most important part, this scheme is playing a very important role in empowering of the women. How? Allotment of house is made jointly in the name of the husband and wife. They are including the wife. And in case of widow, unmarried and separate person, they are actually in this case this wife is not available. So they are doing registration, or they are giving name allotment in the name of the husband. And this data is showing that this scheme is empowering our women. How? Up to the 31st March 2021, 68% of the houses has been sanctioned either solely or jointly in the name of the rural women. So it is playing a very important role in empowering of the women. Now, the most important part of this scheme is they are focusing on the quality construction. How? They are giving construction training and certification program to the person who is constructing the house. The second one, rural masons have been trained and certified to accepting skill standards from this NSQF to provide quality masons for construction of the house. So they are maintaining the quality construction. Then their design is they are designing the house according to the need of the people. For example, in disaster resilient feature, and it's suitable to local geoclimatic condition according to the local need. In our country, if some area have some disaster prone area, so they are making their house according to the disaster resilient feature, and they are also playing a local need. For example, if a person is living at the bank of river, they are living at the sides of the sea, so their needs will be different as the person who is living in the hilly area. So they have taken care of this need of the person according to the local level. So this is the focus. The government is focusing on the quality of the construction, right? Now this is the monitoring level, how they are monitoring. They are taking advantage of the technology which is running in our country, like they are doing geotagging and time stamped photographs of different stages of the house, right? And they are also monitoring the scheme from end-to-end governance model with the help of the mobile software that is known as the Awas Soft or Awas app. Then they are sending the amount directly into the account of the beneficiaries through the DBT process, that is called direct benefit transfer. So this is the monitoring. They are keeping eye from the sky on the construction. They are monitoring day-to-day process of the construction with the help of this Awas and software and Awas app, and they are directly sending the amount into the beneficiary's account. This is the monitoring of this scheme. Multi-level monitoring is done by the government. For example, they are doing the monitoring with the help of the social audit through community participation. Disha committee, I will talk about this committee later. Disha committee meeting headed by the members of the parliament. They discuss about the progress of this scheme. They are also monitoring the scheme at the national level, and they are also monitored this scheme with the help of the center and state government officials. How they are doing social audit? Actually, you know that social audit is mandatory by the Gram Sabha, and this social audit unit set up the state duty government under MGNREGA and PMAYG. So whatever process they are following for MGNREGA for social auditing, they are following it for this Prime Minister Awas Yojana Gramin. And the most important point you can take here is from that social audit of this scheme is conducted in every Gram Panchayat once in every year. So this is the level of monitoring they are doing for this scheme. Now, social audit I have talked about. This District Development Coordination and Monitoring Committee, what is the role played by this committee? Actually, this District Development Coordination and Monitoring Committee, its aim is to ensure better coordination among all the representatives in Parliament, state legislature and local government. It is comprises of district collector, member secretary, and these are responsible for timely follow-up on the recommendations. It was known as District Vigilance and Monitoring Committee before. Now it is known as Disha. And Disha will cover all non-statutory schemes of the government India that are administered in general. There is a Disha dashboard to facilitate data-driven decisions making. The dashboard will unify data from 41 flagship schemes across 20 ministries, including the National Rural Livelihood Missions, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana and Swachh Bharat Mission. So we can say that if on a single dashboard you are getting data of 20 schemes from various ministries, and this monitoring can be very easy for all these schemes. And its members also comprises of very higher level like district collector, because district collector is a head of any district. So the level of monitoring done by the Disha committee is very effective. Now, our second scheme is DDU-GKY, that is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana. This scheme was launched in 25 September 2014. And why this scheme was launched? Actually, around 64% of India's population is expected to be in the bracket of 15 to 59 years by 2026. And around 93% of the Indian worker is employed in the unorganized or informal sector. So, an additional net incremental requirement of 109.73 million skilled manpower is required by 2022. And amongst these members, 69% of the country youth population is between the ages of 18 to 34 are living in the rural areas. So this was the requirement. So government has launched this scheme, and its aim is to bridge the skill gap that prevents India's rural poor from competing in the modern market, such as the formal education and marketable skills. What are the beneficiaries under this scheme? Actually, the rural youth in age group of 15 to 35 years is the beneficiaries, and for SC/ST women, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, the upper age limit relaxed up to 45 years. Now, this scheme is implemented in 3 tiers. The first is DDU-GKY as a national rate. They will make policy and facilitate the agency. The second one is state missions provided implement support, and the last one is project implementing agency, and it is implementing it at the ground level. So these are the 3-tier implementing model. Then some technical support is also given to this scheme, and this technical support agencies role play by the NABARD consultancy services, that is known as the NAPCONS, and the National Institute of Rural Development. Here is some mandatory coverage under this scheme for the socially disadvantaged people. For example, the weightage is given to SC and ST is 50%, minority to 15%, and women to 30%, and person with disabilities is 3%. The most important point is they are giving guaranteed placement or for more than 70% trained candidate by giving minimum remuneration of 6,000 or minimum wages, whichever is higher. And for abroad, they are giving minimum remuneration per candidate per month is 25,000. Training given under this scheme is they are providing 2 types of training. The first one is generic training, soft skill, English and information technology. The second one is trade specific skill training for different duration ranging from 5-6 hours to 2-304 hours. You can say here is that they are providing minimum remuneration if you are taking remuneration in India. And for 3 months, that is for 576 hour course, they are providing 6,000. For 6 months, they are providing 8,000. For 9 months, they are providing 12,000. And for 1 year, they are providing 15,000. And for abroad, they are uniformly giving 25,000 to the candidate. Now, this is the funding pattern. This is 60 to 40 for other states, and for northeastern and Himalayan states, the ratio is 19 to 10. Then, moreover, they are giving some state skills development missions and or state rural livelihood missions, provided the state government they will support and funding for this DDU-GKY. I mean to say here is that some other scheme which is running in the state, they are also providing their funding to this DDU-GKY project. How you will identify the rural youth that they require some skills? They are finding the rural youth from this MG workers household with a minimum of 15 days of completed work in previous year. They are taking help of the Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana household. They are taking Anta Yojana, Anna Yojana card or BPL, PDS and card holding household, self-help groups household and RLM self-help group household. And they are providing special projects for special groups such as the victim of trafficking, manual scavengers, transgenders, rehabilitated bonded labor and other vulnerable groups. Now, they are giving some independent third-party assessment certification from this National Council of Vocational Training. Whatever person is doing skill training, they are providing certification from this National Council on Vocational Training, Sector Skill Council or National Skill Development Corporation. The fund of DDU GKY is providing a variety of skill training program covering 250 trades across ranges of sectors such as retail, hospitality, health, construction, automotive leather, electrical, plumbing. So these are the areas a person can get skill training from this scheme. They are also providing some industrial internship. How they are providing? They are giving grant in aid support to the cost of boarding and lodging in terms of when the person is doing internship, and they are providing this at the rate of 11,250 per candidate per 1 year. They are also providing one-time travel to the candidate, that is 5,000. And this project implement agency is also paying 3,000 per month for each candidate during period of internship. And they are also providing a captive placement in a job with a salary of minimum 10,000 per month after completing of internship. So we can say that this project implement agency can be of any of industry or any organization, whatever their skill they are providing to this candidate. They are giving some these benefit to the member, to the person who is getting internship from their industry. Right now, there are some special initiative taken by the government under this scheme. For example, Himayat. This is a special scheme for the youth rural of Jammu and Kashmir and 100% funding by the central government. It was launched in 21st of August 2011. Under this Roshni scheme, they are also providing special initiative for the rural youth of poor families in 27 left-wing extremist districts across 9 states, and in Northeast region, 10% of DDU GKA program funds are reserved for the project in Northeast region. For example, if 100% is given by the government, then total of this amount will be 10% of this total amount will be given to the Northeastern region. Right. So this was all the highlight related to this scheme. Now there is a Startup Village Entrepreneur Scheme or program. It was launched in 2015 and 16, and the most important motive of this scheme is to provide rural poor to set up their enterprises through ICT technique training and capacity building. This skill building support to all entrepreneurs will be given through CRPEP, that is Community Resource Person for Enterprises Promotion. Then creation of BRC, that is Block Resource Centers, are accountable to local institutions to serve as a repository of information, provided critical support along the bank linkage or village entrepreneur. For this, government has provided a Community Enterprises Fund which provide accessible to seed finance. So this program is totally focused on startup for village entrepreneurship, and they are giving some technical support to the rural people. Right. Now, this is the National Rural Economic Transformation Project. It was launched in 2019 and it will run up to 30th June of 2023. What is the aim of this? It will enhance livelihood promotions, access to the finance, and scale up initiative on digital finance and livelihood interventions. There was a provision of loan assistance from the World Bank for this program, and for the total outlay of 500 million, out of which 250 million is loan assistance from the World Bank. The remaining is given by the government. What is the main aim of this scheme? It will support enterprises development program for rural poor women and youth by creating a platform to access finance, including startup finance option to build their individual or collectively owned managed enterprises. I will explain you this scheme here. If a person, woman or youth or other person from rural area wants to start their business or want to become entrepreneur, then there is a need of some platform. Platform may be in the form of loan assistance, in the form of technique. So this program is giving this types of platform to this women and youth for becoming an entrepreneur in rural area with the help of World Bank, right? So this was the National Rural Economic Transformation Project. Now this is the Ajivika Gramin Express Yojana, and it was launched in 2017. What is the aim? It will provide a alternative source for livelihood to members of self-help group by facilitating them to operate public transport in backward rural areas. For example, if one person wants to grow from one village to another village and village to town, village to city, so the self-help group can purchase a vehicle, and this vehicle is provided by this CIF to this community-based organization under this NRLM, and this support will be used by the self-help group member to operate this public transport from village to other places. And it will cover 250 blocks in the country, and it will be run, it has been run from a period of 3 years to 2017 to 2020. Vehicle can be of either e-rickshaw, 3-wheeler or 4-wheeler. The maximum amount they can avail is 6.50 lakh, and each block will be provided up to 6 people to operate transport. There is a capping of this vehicle for a block. Now the option one is the vehicle will be purchased and owned by the CBO and leased to the self-help group, and the option one is the CBO will provide an interest-free loan from its CIF corpus to self-help group. So these two options can avail by the members. In first case, they are leasing out. In second case, they are giving interest-free loan to the self-help group for purchasing a vehicle. So this is the Ajivika Gramin Express Yojana. So friends, this was all from my side today. I will come up with more video. Till then, thank you and happy learning. And these are our star performers. In the previous exam, we are providing CB grade A course at ₹2499, and we are giving all these things in our course, including current affairs, video lecture, and we are complete syllabus of paper 2 along with the mock interviews and guidance, right? If you want to purchase RBI grade B and CB grade A course, then this combo course you can purchase at 3499, and we are giving RBI grade A course for 2022 at ₹2499, and we are covering all these topics in our course. So friends, thank you and happy learning. पढ़ते रहिए, मेहनत करते रहिए.